1980. So we will discuss about everything step by step. So what is general purpose language? So what is general purpose language is like, if we take two types of languages, like general purpose language and purpose based language, if you differentiate between them, then you will know the actual meaning of general purpose language. Actually, what is meant by general purpose language is like, it is used for all the purposes, like it is used for building web applications, it is used for building mobile applications, it is used for building desktop applications, etc. So a general purpose language is a language which is used for building any type of applications. For example, web applications or mobile applications. The type of language which is an example for general purpose programming language is Python and Java. Okay, that is how you should explain if someone asks you what is general purpose language. So what is purpose based language? Purpose based language is nothing but it is used for a specific purpose. Okay, so if you take COBOL, it is only used for building scientific calculations. So if you take this COBOL language, it is only used for building scientific calculations. Other than that, it is not used for any purpose. So purpose based means for a specific purpose, and general purpose means for a general use, like multiple purposes. Then the next thing is high level language. To learn more about this high level language, just have an idea, like differentiate between high level and low language. So remember one thing, high level language is a language which is written in a language which is understood by the user. So it's like a coding which is understood by the user. On the other hand, low level language is not in the language which is understandable by the coder. So low level language is in the form of some hardware language, so it's not understandable by the user. So debugging is very hard, because in low level language the code is not understandable by the programmer itself, so he has to know the hardware techniques which are used in that language, and then he should debug it. So it's difficult. And for high level language, no hardware knowledge is required, and for low level language, hardware knowledge is required. So if someone asks you what is high level language, you can tell like high level language is the language which is easily understood by the programmer. Debugging is easy in this type of language, and then there is no need to learn about any hardware process or anything in this type of language. So that is what is high level language. And coming to interpreted language, so why is Python called as an interpreted language is, so first we will know about what is interpreted language. Interpreted language is nothing but converting the code into the byte code. Okay, so source code is nothing but the code which you write. Okay, so you will write one code, then when you run it, Python will be converting that code into byte code. Byte code is nothing but 0 and 1. So byte code is the code which is understandable by the computer. So converting the source code into byte code and then executing it is an interpreted language. Python follows that, so it is an interpreted language. So if someone asks what is interpreted language, you can tell like interpreted language is the language in which the source code is converted into byte code, which is 0 and 1, that is understandable by the computer. That's it, simple. And the next thing is object oriented programming. So this object oriented programming is often known as OOPS, and it's a separate concept in C, Python, Java, etc. And under this OOPS, there are polymorphism, inheritance, those concepts will be covered. So at this point, we'll just know about what is the main concept of OOPS. The main concept of OOPS is it follows class and object model. Okay, so to understand this better, take an example of a car. If there are three cars standing in a row, okay, so how to distinguish between the cars? We can distinguish between the cars depending on the color, or depending on the model of the car, the company of the car, I mean the brand of the car, etc. So here the class is the car, and the method will be either model or color or etc, color or something else. Okay, so the main thing is like, why is Python called as an object oriented programming language? Because Python uses class and object model, which is the main objective of OOPS. So Python is an object oriented programming language. Then easy syntax. So what do you mean by easy syntax? So to understand this better, take an example of a C language. So in C language, if you want to write a simple addition program, you have to first write the syntax hash include stdio.h. Then you are declaring the main statement. After that, you are declaring the type of variable. Type of variable is it integer or a decimal or float, like that. Then you are declaring the variables number one, number two, and sum. Okay. Then you are using printf, scanf, and then you are giving logic, and then again you are printing printf statement, and then you are giving return. Okay. So this is a lengthy program in C language, but in Python, if you want to do addition of two numbers, if you know the logic of addition, like what is meant by addition, a plus b is addition. So if you know that simple concept, it will be very easy. So to do addition, what you need two numbers. So number one, number two, declare that. And then what is meant by sum, addition of those above declared numbers, which is number one plus number two. So if you give print of sum, output will be 47. So here we didn't use any syntax. We didn't use any like any commas or any punctuation marks or anything. Nothing is used. So Python is easy syntax. Actually, it doesn't have any syntax. Okay. So if someone asks you the definition of what is Python, you can tell them like this definition, and then you can tell like I can elaborate this. So general purpose language means what, high level means what, interpreted means what, oops means what, and easy syntax means what. So if I explain it in a clear way, it will be it will be give a good impression to the interviewer, because you should distinguish yourself from the other people. Okay. So once you are applying for Python jobs as a fresher, the first question they will ask is, they will ask to introduce yourself, and next following question will be what is Python. So if you tell this definition and explain it clearly, then they will have a good impression on you to proceed to the later parts of the interview. Okay. So this is what is the definition of Python. Okay. So any doubts on this definition?
No, actually, everything is clear.
Okay. So every topic I will be explaining like this only. So if you have any doubts, you can stop me in between and ask. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now we will discuss more about what is Python and what are its features, etc. Okay. So Python combines the features of C language and Java. Okay. You can ask why. It is why, because actually if you take C language and Java, the what are the concepts we use? Generally we use constructors, we use generators, we use object oriented programming, we use integer, strings, lists, etc. So it takes the same concepts which are used in Java and C language with some moderations. Okay. So with some advanced topics. So that is why the Python is gaining popularity nowadays. Okay. Even Python was developed in the year 1983. It gained more importance from the year 2018. Why? Because with the implementation of data science. So nowadays data science is growing technology. Data science is nothing but Python and R language combination is data science. So with the improvement of data science, Python has come into play. Okay. So now we will discuss about features of Python. This is also other important topic. So if someone asks you if what are the features of Python, you can tell like it's simple, it's easy to learn, it's an open source language, then it's high level language, dynamically typed, dynamically typed, then it's platform independent. So don't be overwhelmed. I will explain each and everything. Just I'm noting down the topics. Okay. And Python is platform independent. And other things, yeah, it's also a portable language. Uh, we wrote interpreted. Okay, interpreted, extensible, extensible. Okay. So if someone asks you what are the features of Python, you can say like Python is simple and it's easy to learn and it's an open source language. It's a high level language. It's a dynamically typed. It's platform independent. It's portable. It's an interpreted language and it's extensible language. So you can say 3 or 4 from this. So we will discuss one by one. So why is Python a simple language? As we discussed it before, why is it simple is Python is having no syntax, right? No syntax, and it doesn't uses any punctuation symbols. No punctuation like full stop, comma, or anything. And even curly braces, anything it won't use. So let's keep it like punctuation. So it doesn't use any punctuations or curly braces or anything. And if you see the example of that addition program, so anyone, if they don't know C language or Java also, they can learn Python easily, right? Because if you know the logic, if you know the logic alone is enough to write a program, right? So Python is simple. So if someone asks why Python is simple, you can say like one thing is it doesn't have any syntax and it doesn't uses any full stop, commas, or even curly braces. And the third thing is logic alone is enough to write a program. So for example, you can say like if you take C language and Python, a simple addition program, first you should declare the syntax and then you should declare main statement. You can explain like that. Okay. So if someone asks you to elaborate why it is simple, then you can elaborate like that. Then easy to learn. Why is it easy to learn? Because it doesn't have any syntax. So anyone with basic mathematical knowledge can learn Python. Okay. So that's why it's easy to learn. And next thing is open source language. So why Python is an open source language is actually what is meant by open source language is like where we should not pay money. So some softwares like if we go to SAP or some technologies, those softwares we should buy. So no need to buy Python software. So it's an open source. Okay, it's an open source. Open source is nothing but available freely in the market. Okay. So if someone asks you why Python is an open source, you can say like no need to buy Python software. It's already available free in website. Okay. So if someone asks you which website, you can say like www.python.org. Okay. This is the website where Python is available for free download, and it is available for both Windows and Mac. For both Windows and Mac. So it's an open source language. So next, what is meant by high level language? This we have already discussed in the definition. So what is high level language? High level language is a language which is easily understandable by the coders and it is easy to debug. Why is it easy to debug? Because if you understand something, then you can easily debug the code. So debugging the code is nothing but rectifying the errors. Okay. And then there is no need of any hardware knowledge because the coder is understanding the code. Okay, so this is just like a revision. And the next thing is dynamically typed language. Actually, what is meant by dynamically typed language is like where we do not declare anything. So actually here we are not declaring anything, right? So if we take the program before, if we take this addition program in C language, here we are declaring the type of variable, right? So int is the type of variable. So no need of declaring any such things in Python. So it's a dynamically typed language. So other thing you can say like it doesn't so no need to declare anything. So Python is a dynamically typed language. Okay, so they may ask like, okay, Python is dynamically typed because we do not need any declarations. So what what about C language and Java? So in C language and Java we declare declarations, right? So C language and Java are statically typed languages. Okay, they are statically typed languages. So dynamically typed languages does not require any declarations. Okay, declarations. For statically typed, it is Java, comma C. So if someone asks you what is dynamically typed language, a dynamically typed language is a language which does not require any declarations. Example, Python. And there is a construct thing which is statically typed language which requires declarations. For example, Java and C language. That's it. Okay, simple. Then platform platform independent. So we discussed it before, like Python is an interpreted language, right? So what is interpreted language? Interpreted language is nothing but where the source code is converted into byte code, which is understandable by the computer, right? So there is no need of out person coming and changing the code or anything. So Python automatically changes Python automatically changes the code, source code, into the code which is understandable by the computer. Okay, so this entire process is done by Python compiler. So the technical term is Python compiler. There is a Python compiler which changes or converts source code into byte code understandable by the computer. So if someone asks you why is a Python platform independent, Python is platform independent because it has a Python compiler which changes or converts source code into byte code which is understandable by the computer. Okay, so this is the thing. And dynamically typed, these are actually statically typed. Then it's platform independent. And the seventh one is portable. So what do you mean by portable? So portable is nothing but in simple terms we can say it like portable is nothing but if you can run a program on any computer. So if you run a program on a Mac or a Windows or a Linux system anywhere in the world, the result should be same. If Python is written on Mac or if Python is written on Windows, we will get the same result, right? So it's a portable language. So have understood this portable language. So portable language is nothing but when a program yields the same result on any computer in the world, then it's called as a portable program. And Python gives the same result since it is a platform independent. We told like Python is platform independent, right? So it's portable. So portable is same result when ran on any system. So if someone asks you what is portable, so a programming language is portable when it gives the same result when it's run on any system all over the world. So as Python is a platform independent, it's one of the reasons for being portable. That's it, simple. Okay, then interpreted language, we discussed it before. So interpreted language is nothing but changing the source code into the language which is understandable by the computer, which is nothing but byte code 0 and 1. Okay, So that's interpreted. And the next thing is extensible language. So why Python is called as an extensible language is there are some pieces of code which are written in C and C++. Okay. So the code which is written in C and C++ can be integrated into Python. Okay. So Python can run C language programs. It can even run .NET programs, etc. So we can use some libraries in C, C++. We can use some libraries in use some libraries comma integrate to Python. So we can integrate means attach that to in combination with Python we can work. Okay, some libraries related to C and C++. Okay, related to C comma C++. So Python has integrations also. So even C, C++ also we can run in Python interpreter. Okay. So that's why its Python is extensible. For example, we have one software called Zython. Okay. You explain this definition for extensible. If someone asks you, so what is an example? You can say like there is something called as Zython. So what it does, Zython, which integrates Java code into Python programs. Zython, which integrates Java code into Python programs. So that's it, simple. So now you understood about features of Python. Okay. So it's simple, easy to learn. It's an open source. It's high level language. It's dynamically typed. It's static. Sorry, it's a platform independent, portable, interpreted, and extensible. So do you have any doubts in this particular topic in this out of these 9 things?
Sir, will you explain again extensible?
Yeah, okay. So extensible is nothing but the Python can integrate other languages. Okay. So we can integrate C and C++ or Java into Python. So if someone asks what is extensible, you can say like the programs or pieces of code written in other languages can be integrated into Python. Okay. So for example, if we take Jython, it integrates Java code into Python. Okay. So that's the thing. So it's nothing but integrating other code into Python and running together. For example, if we take Jython, Jython integrates Java code into Python and runs it. That's it. Okay.
Sir, why we take only Jaidan? Why we can't take another example?
Yeah. So other example is if you take Iron Python, it's another framework. Okay. Iron Python. So what Iron Python does is it integrates .NET into Python. So Jython does
Okay.
Java into Python and Iron Python does integrate .NET programs into Python. I'm just saying for example, that's it. I can say enormous number of examples, but one or two is enough. Okay. Hello.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So these are the features of Python. So we'll go to the next topic. 1 second. So there are some advantages and disadvantages when you take Python. Okay. So some of the advantages are it improves productivity. So why it improves productivity? It's easy to understand. Okay. So a beginner also can write the code if he or she understands the concept. Okay. Next is interpreted language. Next it is dynamically typed. It's open source and it has vast library support. Vast library support in the sense it integrates C, C++, Java, right? As told before. So these are the advantages of Python. I went fast because previously I explained what is interpreted language, I explained what is dynamically typed, and I explained what is open source also. So I went fast. And what are the disadvantages of Python? Actually, the running time, the speed is very slow in Python. And next, it is weak in mobile computing. Why it is weak in mobile computing? So Python is vastly used for building web applications and desktop applications, but while coming to mobile applications it can build mobile applications, but the mobile applications which are built by Python are not as good as which are built with Java. Okay, so it's weak in mobile computing. And memory is also not memory allocation is not as good as compared to other languages, so it's not memory efficient. So sorry, so these are the disadvantages of Python. So if someone asks what are the advantages and disadvantages, you can tell like the major advantages are improved productivity and it's an interpreted and dynamically typed language. And coming to disadvantages, it's a free and open source tool and it has vast library support. And coming to disadvantages, it's slow speed and it's weak in mobile computing and it's not efficient memory. Okay, so now we will see what are the major organizations which are using Python. So there are many organizations like Google, Netflix, Quora, Facebook, Uber, NASA. So these all organizations are using Python. Okay, so they will use Python, they can use Python and R combination. And if you take Tableau also, Tableau is nothing but a data visualization tool. So Tableau can convert to connect to Python server also, so Python can be applicable there also. So with any combination they are using Python. So major companies are using, so these are the major companies which are using Python. So if in Facebook, if 100% of code is written in any programming language, nearly 85% of the coding is done in Python only. So the most predominant language used in Facebook is Python only. So these are the major organizations which are using Python. Okay, so this is the major introduction to Python. So we discussed about what is Python, and then we discussed about the features of Python. We discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of Python, and we discussed about what are the major companies which are using Python. Okay, so these are the major topics covered in Python. Okay, so next thing, we'll from tomorrow's class we'll go into the main Python topic. So we'll discuss about data types. We'll start with data types and then we'll continue to constructors, generators, tuples, everything. Okay, so I will try to go as slow as possible, but in case if you stuck in between or if you don't understand anything, you can ask me. Okay, so every topic I will give a detailed notes. Okay, so no need to worry on that. So once I'm sharing the screen, so from tomorrow we'll start with data structures. So I will give theory first like this and then followed by programs. Okay, so like this, programs. So everything will be detailed. So from tomorrow we'll start main topics of Python, and later on today I will share some videos where how to install PyCharm. Okay, so before you attend the class tomorrow, mm, please install the PyCharm and come, because from tomorrow's class you can start practicing. Okay, so do you have any doubts? You can ask me.
No, actually, from my end, everything is clear. And yeah, could you please share that notes actually? Like before coming to the class, we will see it roughly so that we can understand the things easily. I think.
Yeah, okay, I will share that.
Yeah, thank you, Vamsi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I have no problem.
Yeah, okay. From tomorrow I will fix a time and then I will share you the time in the morning. Okay.
Sir, please share. Every day will be only one time.
Okay, okay. Mostly I will fix it 5 or 6 evening. From tomorrow I will fix. Hello. Hello. Okay. Yeah, okay then. Bye. Have a good day.